spots there that it couldn't break out, and the high was 124. But I don't know why you picked the 111.40 as your support there, knowing that there's a huge gap underneath it. Like that takes balls to go into.
I'm gonna be 100% honest with you, bro. Then this is like an issue that I have, and I recommend you guys do not do this. Zoom out of your charts. Um, sometimes when you're so zoomed in, you can't tell about other stuff. I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. I did not see that gap.
Oh, you didn't? Okay.
But there's still another there's more supports down here, and it kind of respected that one. So there was another one at 107, right? And the wick ended up hitting it anyways. This is where we honestly probably should have. This is probably where we should have gone in. It still paid us. We still made money off of it, luckily. And I assume it's gonna test the 122 again. Damn it, man.
Rizwan.
Okay, good. I just want to clarify because I was like, when I'm watching that play, I'm like, I don't know where I would play that because that gap is big and
Hey,
you're playing at 111.
that's the beauty, bro. And I love it when people ask me, it's like, why are you doing this if X, Y, and Z is happening? Right? Like that shows that you're looking at the play. That means you're charting on your own. That means you're learning. I used to do it all the time. There was plays where like even Tilio, where I was like, why is Tilio taking that play? It doesn't make any sense. And it turned out wrong. And that's okay, because most of the time he's right. Anyways, that dude makes a lot of money off of his plays. But if you can save yourself the angst of not catching a play that doesn't make sense, like save yourself the trouble. Like I charted Fubu last week because when I was drinking, and I normally never chart for you guys because I don't like it. I don't think you learn from that. Like there's just no sense. There's no point. I saw downside on it, and I said it was going to go down because it was at resistance. Like I would never, like the only thing that I really liked about it was that it was on this uptrend, and if we had the right amount of volume, and if you guys popped, like if this broke resistance, y'all would have made a hell of money. But it didn't, and it went down. And now it's consolidating around this price, and I hope it can come back up and you guys can at least break even or make a lot of money. I think it's still going to pop. It's just a matter of time. But having the ability to chart for yourself can save you guys from buying maybe plays that you shouldn't. And I think any analyst will be more than happy for you to call them out and be like, hey, why are you doing that if there's this or this is what I see? If anything, you might stop them from buying a bad play. So thank you.
Hey, Mario.
Mm-hmm.
We do have somebody streaming this on Twitch, actually. So
on Twitch,
we
made it to Twitch.
Someone named Tyson streaming it over on Twitch, just so you know that we are live, and if anybody wants to watch, we've been posting the link in Trade Floor.
Tyson Temples, is that who's streaming it?
Yep.
Shout out to Tyson. All right, then I'll stick around for a little bit longer, guys. That way you guys can, I can make up for like the stuff that we didn't teach earlier. So is there anything you guys want to see when it comes to support, resistance, trend lines, channel?
Actually, I have a question, Mario.
Go for it. Boy. What's up, your boy?
I had messaged you, man. I have actually a script for anybody that's having some issues with support and resistance. I use it on my screen, so it kind of helps me whenever I have to chart on a smaller time frame, but I mainly use it on my dailies, and then I'll scale down to like my 15 and my 30 minutes. So if there's anywhere I can post a script so they can use it, just let me know.
You said you DM'd it to me, right?
I just messaged you about it, but I'll DM you.
DM it to me, and I'll show it to the staff, and if they think it's something that the rest of the community can benefit from, then great. Why not? Ultimately, the reason why I want them to learn is if I always joke around about this, right? It's like if this Discord were to disappear one day, if like the tools for one day decides to like not work, can you still trade? You know what I mean? Like, and ultimately that's what I want to instill in you guys is to be self-sufficient and to be able to spot these things on your own.
Totally, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Hey Mario, I have a question.
Yeah, who is this?
Devoli.
Devoli. I just want to make sure because I'm trying to mute someone and I just want to make sure I'm not muting the incorrect person. Okay, so what's your question?
So I'm just wondering, how do you
Oh,
judge
Devoli.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just recognized your name. What's up,
No,
man?
you're good. What's up, man? So I'm just wondering, how do you judge when it's gonna break through a resistance line, like on pets? If you want to pull that up, so
I don't know what the hell got into pets. I'm gonna keep that like 100 with you. Like I don't know what the hell got into it. But the way you can tell is through volume. That's probably the only way you can reassure that you're gonna have like a massive break.
Yeah, because like I would have, if I got in that, I would have sold like why wouldn't you just sell it like 31? Like
Why
at the
wouldn't
next-
you?
at the next
No,
resistance?
and I'm gonna keep it honest with you. You should have sold. Like
Okay.
that's just a fact. There's a lot of people like, man, I sold Neo $1 early, or I sold Neo $5 early, but then they never like think about if a stock can go down. They always see how much a stock can potentially go up, but they never see how much a stock can potentially go down.
Right.
And I need to say that again, guys, because you guys always complain about stocks going like, damn, man, like if only I held, or if only I didn't do that, or man, like I missed out on that play. But did you lose money? No. Did anything wrong happen? No. Maybe you missed out on money, but you didn't lose money and you still made money. But if that stock would have easily dropped 50% instead of going up 50%, would you be having the same conversation? If you would have cut and it went down, would then you be happy?
So basically, lock in the gains, move on. To the next
Yeah.
one.
Why risk the gains? I've had so many stocks, and I promise you it's going to happen again. It's probably going to happen in the challenge where we sell and it's going to rip another $10, and I'm going to be okay with that because we locked in the profits. Maybe I'll leave runners, but even then, like I just like locking in my profits and moving on to the next trade and never looking back.
Right.
Sometimes
Alright,
I like to look. Sometimes I like to look back to see if like my charting played out, and usually it does. But were you in the SDC play?
No, I didn't get in that one.
Did you see it though?
Yeah, I was looking at it.
Let's see if I can pull it up. I have too many stocks in my watch list. Yeah, it's a ridiculous amount. Like my original profit area was 1250. I didn't think it was going to go all the way up to 1585.
You
Like we all took profit right here. But then looking back in hindsight, maybe we should have held a little bit longer. And the only reason I say that is because of this beautiful uptrend that it was in. And it did exactly what I charted it to do, right? It hit it here once, twice, almost here 3 times. And then would have came and done it again. So maybe like in hindsight, I should have left like 10 shares and left those to run and see if it would have gotten in, and then set a stop loss in case it didn't. Maybe that's something we'll do for the challenge, is that we'll leave a couple runners just in case the stock keeps going up, but set a stop loss so that if it doesn't and we just get stopped out, we still guarantee profit.
So would you recommend like scaling out at every resistance, say like locking in some gains as it approaches every resistance, and if it breaks,
I'll say this,
right
man.
to the next one.
With XL, Austin and Josh have made more money on XL than I have on this next run that we're going to have. And I think Bori has made more money flipping XL. Because what they're doing, and these guys, and I get mad at them for doing this because I wish I did it, but I'm greedy and I want the 23. They'll buy at 19 and it goes up to like 21, so that's a $2 change. But depending on how many shares you buy, let's say you buy 50 or even 40, that's $80 to $100 profit depending on how high it goes. They'll sell. And guess what XL does? It drops again. And what do? They buy again. And it goes back up to 23, 22. Guess what they do? They sell again. So, and it happened like 3 times where they did it and they just kept buying and flipping it. I think Austin has made an easy $500 off of XL, and I have made 0. So, like, who wins in the long run, right? The guys who chicken out and take profit early, or the guys that wait? Like, honestly, I wish I probably took profits on these guys earlier. I remember when they were all asking me if we should have taken profits here at like 22.46. I should have. We were up like $300, and I don't know why I didn't take it. Like,
Same issue of just being
yeah,
reluctant to make my
yeah,
moves.
exactly. Now I want to show you guys, like, I deal with this shit just as much as you do. I'm in the same place that you guys are. We're 100% up in the thing. Should I take it? Should I close? Should I take profits? We're 300% up. Like, it's an obvious answer. We should, but it's hard. It's greed and it's emotions, and we all deal with them. But it's mastering these emotions and being able to control them is what's going to make you guys a profitable trader in the long run.
If something like, let's just say XL broke your charted support, are you then selling your shares, or do you
like down here? Like, let's say it goes down to, I don't know, 17.50,
somewhere around there. It just breaks your line. Are you gonna sell? Or are you gonna let it ride down?
I'll hold and I'll buy more. It happened with Apple, actually. The worst drawdown I ever had was with Apple. And again, guys, I don't like to speak on things that I have never traded or have never experienced. And it's why I even feel comfortable enough to even have a lecture with this many people on, because I feel that I can actually share the information and the experience that I have had and the emotions. Trust me, being down $300 on shares does not feel good. But I trusted myself and I trusted in the charts. And I think it was like the first time that it was like right here. And I bought in at 113, and then it dropped to like 110. So then I bought again at 110, and then it dropped all the way down to like 105. And I think I bought some more at 107. And I just held it, and I just didn't look at it. I just knew Apple would eventually go back, because it's Apple, like, Apple's not going anywhere anytime soon. And I wrote it back up. This was my first experience with greed, was this. Having a like 110 average, writing it all the way up to 125, literally a $20 change in a stock. And you know what I said? I said, how much higher can this go? I was already up. I don't know. I can't even remember how much profits I had. I think I was like in the high 500s or 700s. I was like, how much higher can Apple go? And look what it did. It went right back down to where I got in at 107. That's the issue here, guys. You guys think it's going to keep going up forever? You guys think this ride is going to keep going on forever? It's going to fall eventually. And you might as well just secure profits and get a better entry again, or go and look at a different stock. And it's okay. It's okay to secure profits. You're going to thank yourself in the long run. Yeah, it hurts when you see it go back up, or if it does go up for a little bit more. But again, we're in this for the long run. We're not in this for the short run. If you're in this in the short run, just go gamble at a casino. But I had to hold it, and I held it up, and I finally took profit at like 125 again. And look, it went up to like 137. I was okay. I still made my money.
Do you avoid using Fibonacci?
I don't understand Fibonacci. I've seen it. I've seen other people use it. I think Hostel uses Fibonacci. I think Noodle. I don't want to speak for Noodle. I think Noodle uses Fibonacci. I forgot who else uses Fibonacci in here, but no, I don't use it because I don't understand it. That doesn't mean you can't use it, though. Find what works for you. Like, I don't use RSI, EMA, SMA. Tilly uses it. May uses it. I know Shark uses a couple other things, and so does Zabes and Arctic. I don't use it though. Find what works for you. You know, Fidget's a scalper. I hate scalping, but it works for him. Find what works for you.
Hey Mario,
What's up? Who is this?
it's Jimmy, Firehawk.
Hey, what's up, man?
So when do you, how do you draw the support and the resistance? You know, like flags. So like, see this chart that you have up right now. The first resistant is you know such a big gap from where it starts kind of climbing back up to where it's at right now.
Mm-hmm.
So like, when do you draw the flag? You know, like the line for the resistance and the support. Where, you know, when I look at Kyle's lines, and he has like multiple flags on one chart. You know.
Do you mind if I get water first, and then if I can answer your question? Is that okay, guys?
Yeah.
All right, give me 1 second. Let me just grab water, and I'll be right back. Okay. Cal charts differently than me. I don't do wedges. I don't do any of that. In fact, sometimes I create wedges by accident or flags. And a lot of things, I've noticed this across like just the trading culture and the creating, you know, the trading sphere. People like to just rename the same shit. Like it's the same pattern, but they'll just name it something else because they want to, because that's what makes sense to them. So like a downtrend or an uptrend is very similar to like what a cup and handle forms. And I know Bori loves to trade cup and handles. It's the same thing. Like I guess someone can argue that there's a cup and handle right here, right? But I don't look at the cup and handle. Like I don't trade cup and handles. But I can see that there's a downtrend here, so I would chart that. Like super simple.
So wait, why don't you like to use wedges?
It's just I didn't learn them. I never learned them, and I never took the time to learn them. Doesn't mean that you can't use them. JPen loves using wedges. Bori loves using wedges. Zabes loves trading wedges. So does Arctic. In fact, I think like majority of our team uses wedges. Maybe I should use wedges. But like if I'm already making money, and if I'm consistently making money using my system, I don't really see the need to go learn something else if this is working for me. And maybe I should, right? Maybe I'll make even more money if I learn wedges. But one of the biggest pet peeves is like when your chart looks like a tic-tac-toe, or when it looks like a fucking pickup sticks game and you can't read anything. It just looks like someone threw up on it and it's like a bunch of lines of spaghetti. Like sometimes I look at people's charts and I'm like, there's no fucking way you guys know what you're looking at. There's just no way. There's just too many lines and colors and like confetti on there. You know, people confuse themselves. Keep it simple, keep it basic, support and resistance, and then add as you go. You know, people
can't have a analysis paralysis.
Yeah, man, people want every single if not every single indicator is on, they don't trade. Like that doesn't do you any justice. So yeah, don't get stuck on like if it doesn't, fit, if it doesn't look like someone else's. Find what works for you. And if that is what someone else's look like, then that's fine.
Hey Mario, I got a question.
Hold up. There was two people. Go in there. Who was talking?
Mustafa.
Gustavo. And
Mustafa.
who's the other Mustafa? And who's the other person that was talking after Mustafa?
Danny.
Danny. Okay, so we'll do Mustafa and then Danny. Is that okay?
Yeah, man.
Go.
Mario, do you trade the Wickfill strategy? Like, do you use the Wickfill strategy?
I have no idea what the Wickfill strategy is. Can you teach me?
Well, I've like heard from a couple of people, but I was trying to find a YouTube video and I didn't find anything. Basically, it's like whenever there's like a Wickfill to the upside or to the downside, it eventually gets filled. But I'm not exactly sure how to trade them. Like, so whatever it is, if you see a wick on like a larger time frame, it will most likely get filled on like you should be trading a wick fill on the lower time frames. But I don't know how to trade those.
I don't, bro. I don't know
Okay.
anything about wick fills. Maybe that's something I need to look into, but again, it's not something that's my cup of tea, unfortunately. So sorry about that. I'm sorry I couldn't help you. I don't know. I
No, that's
honestly
fine.
don't know
I
if any. Go for it.
Yeah, so I saw it on this one guy that I follow on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
His name is Usman. I don't know if you've heard of Usman, but he recently posted it about the Wickfill strategy. But I couldn't find anything on YouTube that would, that was
Yeah,
helpful.
man. Sometimes I'll be honest. Sometimes I stay away from like all of these trading guys because sometimes I
Okay,
feel like
gotcha.
they force content that they don't even trade themselves just for the sake of content. There's they don't. I'll be honest. Some of these guys don't even make money trading. They make more money selling you guys bullshit than they do trading. In fact,
Gotcha.
probably
Okay.
like 75% of them don't trade.
Gotcha. Okay.
I might want to chime in on this. Maybe stay away from Wickfield. You end up losing a lot of opportunities. Like you said earlier, sometimes you look at the elephant too close and you don't know what's going on. Like when he mentioned he missed that drop.
Yeah,
Wickfield,
yeah. So
Wickfield keeps you focused on such a small picture. You can't see that there's an elephant in the room. So sometimes you either end up losing money or making money. I don't know. I'd
there we go.
stay away from it if you don't have
Got
any
it.
Cool. And
experience.
this is why I love this community. We can all help each other and we can all learn from each other. You know, I'm still
Got it.
learning every single day. But Danny,
Yeah, I got a couple questions. How many stocks do you like try to keep on your radar at once? Like try to drum up?
because of the way I trade, essentially what I do is I'll on the weekends or on a day that I have time, usually once a week I try to, or at least twice a week. I'm not gonna kid with you guys. It's either I have a nice cup of coffee with me and I'll just go through all my stocks, or I'll have like a glass of wine and I'll just go through them. And I'll go through every single one of my stocks and I see, does this approach support? Nope. Is this a support approach? Nope. I literally just go through it. Then I find stuff and I find something that I like. And I'll keep a tab of that, like a mental tab. Like, okay, remember to look at, like right now, there's one that Austin and I are looking at. It's APXT. Let's see if we can find it. Sorry, here it is. This guy's approaching support. And look at this. This has been channeling within here. So this is how I find my plays, guys. I have a bunch of stocks. I go through it. And I find stuff that's nearing support. And I'm like, okay, keep an eye on it. So this is something I'm going to wait till it gets to like the 15 area or the 1450 area. And then it's a potential buy. I think it still has some more downtrend to it. So we'll wait. But that's how I find my place.
So all these stocks in your watch list over here, all of them are charted and everything, so you can just click through them and just check them out.
They're all charted. Every single one of these is charted. That's a little embarrassing. I'm just a snob, guys. I love this thing. I always tell hostels, like, this is the first time where I feel like I have control of my life. That I don't have to rely on anyone. I don't have a manager. No one has to tell me to get up at 6 a.m. every single day to trade. I have to tell myself to do that. I die on my own sword and I win on my own sword. You know, you have the golden ticket to change your life. It's up to you if you take it and go with it and run with it. You know?
How many plays are you usually in at a time?
For the challenge, we're actually going to narrow it down. Probably around 5 or 6. Unfortunately, lately I've been spreading myself a little too thin, and I'm in like around 10. And we've noticed between even Hostel and I and FaZe and that I will make more money on like 5 stocks than spreading myself thin across 10 stocks. We would just have to put more money into like that specific stock. And that's kind of the plan. We're going to try that out on like the first 2 months of the challenge and see if that works, because you just need a couple good plays to really get you up there. You know, it's not every single play is a home run, but if you do get a home run and you have a good amount of money in it, you're solid. You're good to go.
Yeah, that makes sense. And so another quick question, you know, you're always like, I never lose, you know, even if it goes down, I can just wait it out. Isn't it at some point, wouldn't it be worth it just to take the loss and move on though? You know, so what, a couple $100, you know, I'll make it up on the next one just to not.
I don't know about 100. I don't know about.
Well, you know what I'm saying, but just to not keep that money tied up.
Yeah. And this is to my guys who always ask me if I have long-term holds. I thought I had the patience to do it. Turns out I don't. So I bought like 50 between like all my travel stocks. I had like around 400 shares of different travel. They're still around break even. CCL, I was actually down, and I'm still down. And just to cut it for the challenge, I might have to take like a $30 loss. But the amount of money that I had sitting in CCL, AAL, HA, and Save, let's say it was like $5,000, I probably could have easily made $5,000 in the time that it was just sitting there. So, do I take losses in that sense? I know Zorro did. He was also on the same boat. We were both stuck with AAL and CCL, and he took like the $30 loss and like the $50 loss on his plays. But he made it back so quick that to him it didn't even matter. But for me, like when it comes to like LMPX or even LL or LI, it's such a short amount of time where I'm okay with waiting for now. I think once you start pushing like months, then we'll see. I've never had to experience that, so I wouldn't be able to tell you. But maybe Hostel can. He's actually in here.
I think he said he's been sitting on one for like a year now.
Yeah, I mean, that dude sat on a stock for 6 years, 10 years, and he refuses to sell it. And he's made money off of it just through dividends alone. The longest stock I had to hold was 6 months. And that was IDX, and that's before I really understood what I was doing. And I bought it at a really bad price, but I refused to sell it for a loss. And maybe I should have, maybe I could have taken that loss and moved on. But it was more like an ego thing and more for like myself to be like, you know what? No. You're going to hold this and you're going to prove to yourself that you can hold this stock and you can eventually come back. So I waited 6 to 7 months and eventually I made $30 on it. But hey, I didn't take a loss.
I mean, couldn't you like sell a covered call on that or something?
I didn't know about covered calls back then. You guys have to remember, like, I didn't know anything when I first started here. I learned in here. I learned in these Q&As. I learned through Hostel. I learned through FaZe. I learned through Tilio. I learned through reading the education section. I just kept practicing and learning and asking questions and coming back. There's guys in here that I still recognize from when we first started. Synergy, he's been here for a really long time. Let's see, TSB has been here for a really long time. They can vouch for me. VCAV, it's been here for a while, man. I've been in it for about 7 months. I have like messages to VCAV and Tilio asking them simple questions about stop losses. It takes time, guys. This isn't You don't learn overnight. There's guys that get it quick though. They um and Ruchin, he's been in a lot of my Q&As. He learned how to chart on his own. He's taking plays on his own. Josh, he's taking plays on his own now. JPen, Bori, Austin, Jahan's taking, all of these guys are taking plays on their own. And they learn from these Q&As and they practice and they try. Even Trep's been learning a lot and he's getting better. So it's just a matter of practicing, being patient, and learning from all of these opportunities that get presented in front of us.
Hey Mario, have you ever used like a trailing stop quote or a trailing stop percentage where the stop loss kind of follows?
I need
on
to
its way up?
I need to use those. Hostel's a big fan of using trailing stop loss. In fact, he gets mad at me for not using them. He says that is the key thing. That's my next thing that I really need to practice and learn. Again, guys, I haven't stopped learning. There's still stuff that I need to learn, and trailing stop losses, I just haven't really had the time to sit down and really go over them. It's really simple, but I haven't done it. Zoro likes using them as well. I think Zabe uses them from time to time.
Yeah, I was going to ask about it too. I mean, it kind of seems like a no-brainer.
Well, I've used it a couple times, but it stopped me out, and because it was too tight, and I actually lost oh man, it flew up more,
Well, I know Zoro put a trailing stop in the SDC play that we did, and it stopped him out. He still got a better exit than me, but that thing just kept ripping anyways. So I got out at 12:39. He ended up getting out at 13 something, but clearly that thing went almost all the way up to 14 that same day. It's not perfect, guys. The most important thing is that we make money. I don't know if Hostel can jump in and teach trailing stop. I don't know if he can hear us. Let me message him.
Hey Mario, I still have 2 more questions.
Yeah, let me ask Hostel if he can just step in real quick.
Okay.
Or is there any other support in here?
Hey, so I can add on to the question about the trailing stop. So basically, it's an algorithm. I was reading on it, and apparently it's an algorithm. So the downside with it is that the market makers, they can see your trailing stop, and that way you can get faked out because of that. So
Interesting.
That explains that one thing that you mentioned that you guys got stopped out.
Yeah, I haven't used it again. I'm trying to see if I can get Hostel to get in here. I do need to run to the restroom if you guys can wait. I don't know if there's anyone in here that I trust to continue answering questions. Oh, there he is.
What's the question?
Trailing stop losses.
What about them?
Just explain what they are and how they work and how you use them.
Trailing stop, you just basically set a profit target first, right, in your head. When the stock reaches that point, then you got to ask yourself, what are you willing to lose from that profit level? And then whatever that number is, you start your trailing stop at that price. And that way, as long as the stock keeps pumping, then your trailing stop's going to follow it. It's also kind of helpful to look at short-term support levels for trailing stops, so you could hope to find a trailing stop that it'll bounce off of, when the stock does a little bit of downward movement before it goes back up. You look for a stop maybe to a support level, but typically support levels are going to be a bit lower than where it's at if you're in profit and it's good profit. So you kind of just, it's hard to set the stop just right. The way I like to set stops is when we're actually in a downtrend. So the stock's going up, but you have a retracement, and in that retracement, let's say I'm up. Let's say the stock goes to 50. I like my profit target there. It falls, and now I'm only at 15% instead of 25%. It bounces there. Assume that's support. So it bounces there. That's where you're going to set your trail and stop, just below that level. And then once it breaches that high number that it did just recently, that trail and stop number is going to follow it. So it's going to be that same value. So if you set a $2 trail and stop from 50 to 48, and you're okay to stop out at 48, it's going to follow that stock price. So when stock price goes to 54, your trail and stop is going to be at 52. So hopefully that answers the question.
I hope that helps, guys.
that's good stuff.
Mustafa, I know you still had questions. Sorry for cutting you off.
Oh no, that you're fine. The first question I had was, so if you like, for instance, for some of the stocks, like you're pretty confident about support levels. So I just want to understand like why you wouldn't sell like a cash secured put at that strike price, so you can make money like in the meantime the stock is approaching that level.
Because I'm barely learning about cash secured puts, and I'm barely learning about covered calls in general. I haven't really mastered them. In fact, I still don't feel confident in getting into CSPs without the help of FaZe or Hostile. That's definitely a question you can say for him. I think it's Thursday. But no, essentially, you and I are going to be trading the same exact way. We're going to be finding these really strong supports and trading off of them. Trust me, there's a lot of times where FaZe and I have just gone back and forth debating on, what strike, or if this support is strong enough, if there's enough OI, if there's enough premium or credit that you're going to receive to do a CSP or to do a covered call. We do the same exact thing, brother. It's very similar. It's why we get along. It's why I always jump into the selling premium. Or if you notice, like a lot of those guys that just use my plays, but they put CSPs on them. It's the same thing.
I think with CSPs, your gains are limited to how much premium you collected.
Mm-hmm. That too, and you need the money up front, right? In case you get assigned. But, to each their own. There's so many ways to make money in the market. You got to figure out what works for you. Can never stress that enough.
Got it. All right. So the other question I had was, so for instance, for Blink, I had a strong support at 47.91, and on the 2nd of Feb, like I saw it approach that level, but the volume was increasing, and then it's had a trend reversal. So can you please provide some insight as to how you use volume to see?
Do you remember what date this was?
Yes, the 2nd of
February. So
I saw volume increasing, and then it was in a downtrend. I saw volume increasing, and then it reversed. Like it's the next day it popped.
This day, right? Right here? Wait, no, it didn't pop. It continued to go down.
On the 3rd of February, it popped. Right? On the 2nd, we saw volume increase.
Yeah, you're talking about the difference between the 2nd and the 3rd, right?
Right.
I was actually going to get into that play. I remember telling my lecturer to keep an eye out on Blink because of this downtrend and because of the potential. I don't know why it popped, bro. Sometimes, again, this is why I don't want to, promise a certain date or a certain amount of money or anything like that, because there's just stuff that's out of our control. I don't know why it popped.
Right.
And I'm pretty sure no one can give you an answer.
Yeah, because I thought momentum was increasing, the volume was going up, so I thought it would continue going down, and then maybe I could buy it at the 43 level, but I mean,
Yeah,
reverse.
man, I really wanted it at 42. We should have got it in at 43, 44 and just ride it up, but we didn't, and that's okay. It happens. We miss them. That's why we're in SBE right now. We should have gone it in at, I wanted it at 35. We could have gone in at 36, 37. I ended up getting in at 39. I still think it has rooms to grow. We're shooting for the high 45s. I can't explain. There's just certain stuff that you just can't explain, and that's okay. That's what makes this game fun.
But Right. Ideally, like once it's approaching a support level, you'd want the volume to go down, right? If it's in a downtrend.
Yeah, you do want to see that. Or let's see if we can find one. Or you see a confirmation of a reversal at a support through volume. So like in this case, right, like it was dying down, volume was staying flat, then you get higher volume on the day, but it's still kind of like around the same price. It's not like a huge change in price, but you see this giant green candle, you see potential reversal, and then immediately the next day you have more volume than the previous day. This is usually a good sign of some type of reversal happening, especially around a support level.
All right, Mario, I got a question.
Yeah.
I'm in your CLII play, the shares.
Yeah.
I don't know if this was asked already, but you're not afraid that that big gap underneath is gonna get filled?
Yeah, it's actually the first thing I told FaZe. I was like, bro, like you and Hostel are always preaching about these gaps. How are we getting into this play if it has a huge gap? And he reassured me, and I even talked to Zoro about it as well, is that the only reason this gap exists is because of the news on the merger. If the only reason this gap is going to get filled is if the merger gets canceled, or I would say like delayed or something, some bad news happens. That's the only reason that that gap would get filled. In the meantime, I don't see it going anywhere. It's probably going to hit support. It might go down just a little bit. Then we'll just ride it back up to like a high 22, high 23 if we're lucky, and we'll get out. It was going to be a quick flip anyways. This isn't intended for a long-term hold. Just because I need to, we need to free up space for the challenge. But yes, I was worried. So we're all thinking the same thing. Don't worry.
Sounds good, because I'm in pretty deep right now with
Oh,
quite a few shares.
hey, don't worry, man. I don't see it going anywhere. It seems the news is positive, but again, things happen, and set stop losses in case you want to be safe, especially for plays like these. Maybe this is a good place to have a stop loss, even though normally I don't have stop losses. This might be a good place to have one. Just in case. Maybe like $1 or $2 down, so you don't risk yourself, falling all the way down to 14. Realistically, if that did happen to me, I will just hold, buy more, and wait for it to go back up eventually.
All right, sounds good.
Hey Mario.
Hey Mario, can you take a look at EXPI, ticker EXPI? It's been ripping lately, and it's like finding really good support. So I don't know.
EXPI. I'll take a look at it later if that's okay. I might be getting off soon though, guys. I honestly don't know. Hostel said if you feel like you need a stop loss for something, you shouldn't be alerting it.
Mario, it's gonna be a 15K to 50K challenge.
Correct, miss.
Thank you.
Oh, let me leave you guys with homework at least. There's a play, and I'm probably gonna get in it tomorrow. I'm not gonna announce it because I think we're over leveraged already. You know what? I shouldn't even have said that. Can you guys chart Highland for me? It's HY. Let me find it for you guys. Actually, I'm not gonna
That's
show
the
it
one
though.
FaZe is in.
Yeah. It's approaching really good support, and it formed something in particular that I really want people to find. HYLN. Chart it for me and send it to me as a screenshot. I'll get back to them as soon as I can. I already have enough DMs to begin with. I get back to you guys eventually. But yeah, that's going to be the homework for tonight, guys. And
one more time, what was it?
HYLN. I'll type it in the chat.
Thanks, bud.
I wanted to make an alert too. If you guys want to check out another sector moving in concert, check out the cannabis sector. All the major players are going up and together. Might be worth a look.
Yeah, cannabis is just tricky, man. It's very volatile. It's very news based.
especially
I don't
right
know
now.
it. I don't know enough about it to really get in it. I'm telling you though, if
It's been ripping since September, so
yeah,
it's already
Been
pumped.
ripping so good.
if for whatever reason that thing finally gets legalized, oof.
That's when you need to be in.
Yeah,
Virginia just passed legalization.
but yeah,
2023.
we're talking
getting in
federally. We're
early.
not talking state level though. We need to get federal legalization, and that's a whole nother topic that we're not going to rabbit hole into. But again, when that happens, that's where the big money is going to be made.
Hey Mario,
Yeah.
how much of your portfolio do you use at one time? Like how much do you leave available to scale down?
Lately, I'll try to put at least 10% of my portfolio per trade. Because it's shares, it's a little bit safer to overtrade. With with options, what the rule is like 2 to 5%. With shares, you don't
Yeah.
have that much risk. You just hold. That's it. Like that's the worst thing that's going to happen to you is you just hold and you have to be patient and then average down. Don't do what I did and like let's say you're 10% and you go 10% in to that trade right away. Austin and Josh get better averages than me because they'll get in less. So let's say they'll do like 50% of that 10%, and then they'll average down the rest of the 50%, in that case 5%, and they'll end up with a better average than me, even though I went like what I tend to do is I'll do 75-25. I think I'm going to start doing Austin's trick with like 50 and then 50 because it seems to be better in the long run. And even if, like, let's say it does rip off of the 50% of their initial 10% investment, I think it's worth it.
Makes sense. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. But that's about it, guys. I think I need to go do some things. I don't know how long these are going to go. Usually Hostel steps in about this time, but I guess I'm going to start doing my own nights, which is very exciting. That just means I probably have to plan a little bit more, and I'm gonna have to. I'll probably extend these Q&As a little bit longer. I just wasn't expecting it for tonight. It was kind of like a last minute thing, so that you guys got something from me because we missed Super Bowl, and then we're gonna miss Valentine's Day. So I want to educate you guys as much as possible. And again, feel free to DM me with whatever questions you guys have. If I can't answer it, I'll be more than happy to point you in the right direction for someone who can potentially answer it for you. But I think I'm calling it a night, guys, if that's okay.
Now you got to keep going.
Sorry, boss. His mom's here.
Thank you. Good sir. Have a nice night.
Hey man, thank you.
Thanks, Mario.
Thanks,
Thank
Mario.
you, guys.
Have a good night.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
How the fuck do you do this hostel for like 4 hours?
I don't know. Just get carried away.
Rambling.
Loves talking.
I've been on one with Hostel till like 2 o'clock in the morning before.
I've been up with Hostel at 3 a.m. once.
Sounds like
Can't do it tonight though. I got work, man. Work's pretty heavy today.
How you doing, Hassel?
Just pretty busy.
Anyways, boss, I'll talk to you later. I was talking to FaZe about some other stuff, so I'll have to loop you in.
Sounds good.
Alrighty, guys. Have a good night. Thank you again for coming, and I'll hopefully be able to have a better lecture for you guys on next Tuesday.
Will this be
All
uploaded?
right, thanks, Mario.
I don't know because at this point we don't like I don't even know when it started streaming. I know Tyson was like putting it on Twitch. And then I think finally we got someone to I don't even know if it's recorded, to be honest. Like I don't know.
Probably not.
Yeah.
I didn't do it, so.
And that's okay, guys. You know, I can do a support and I want to do like a really solid support and resistance for you guys that's like not interrupted by a million microphones. So that's essentially what I want to do. In the meantime, if you guys want to do support and resistance, I have old lectures that I can send you guys. But again, this is something that I'd love to teach because it's so simple, but once you learn it and once you master it, you're off to the races. Like you're set. You can trade for the rest of your life on your own. You just got to keep practicing.
You don't even have to be that good at it.
No,
Just
you don't.
good at support and resistance. That's it.
Mm-hmm. But alrighty, guys. Thank you again.
See ya.